I stood out in the garden, just missing the sun descend behind the horizon, as a slight mist covered the skies, and the most peculiar sound I heard. At first I thought it was partying kids, and then it screeched again. Maybe it was a cat or two. "Are you coming?" heralded a young voice from the kitchen. I answered quickly, yes, so not to interrupt the next screech that I awaited. And then it came again. The sound was familiar, and yet I couldn't recollect it. Then I slowly looked across my fence to the road that lay behind, and the noise came again, but this time its maker came with it. As an old-fashioned steam train slowly chugged on the road, between my fence and the house, the other side. I had to close my eyes and reopen them to see such a sight. A full-scale steam train halted the other side of my fence. The voice called again to come in. This time I spoke slowly and stilted. Yes, just coming." I looked to the kitchen and saw the owner of the voice preparing some food, and like an angel she seemed to slide across the floor. Then I turned back to the steam train. I had to have a look, I told myself, and so I leaped over my garden fence right up close to the hot steam train, which appeared a ghostly pale, as if it was not quite all there. But when I placed my hand outstretched, thinking it might just pass through, it landed on hot metal. It was really there. A train stationed on the hard service road. I looked up the road to see if anyone else was looking, but I couldn't see another person. The train door opened and a voice beckoned me in. I turned back to my garden, thinking I shouldn't really, but I did, nevertheless. Inside the train, the man who had opened the door for me promptly closed it and said, "You were lucky. We were about to push on. Got your ticket?" I looked at him. "Ticket? Quick, come with me. Hide in here with me till he's passed. He won't check me again." And so I let myself be led by the situation and hid in this strange man's compartment as the ticket inspector with a gruff voice and moustache shouted out, "Tickets, please." The voice with which I had been greeted on the train spoke once again. "My name's Leonard Gilcroft. Nice to make your acquaintance." I remained staring out the compartment window as the train set off and saw my garden fence leave my sight. And then we headed into some darkness. The road I knew that was next to my house did not appear. It's not good looking out there now. I mean, you can't tell when or where you are. Just have to wait till we get to the other end of the darkness. Darkness, I said, shaken by his alarming verb. Sorry, old boy. Didn't mean to be alarmist. I suppose you need some kind of explanation. Not sure I'm the right person to give it, but in the absence of someone more qualified than I should tell you nevertheless. I boarded this train some years ago. Been on it ever since. Although, when we make longer stops, I do pop off and see the surroundings. I digress. This train is an anomaly, an impossibility, a figment of poet's imagination. And here, as you can plainly see and feel, it has form. How it has so, I cannot tell you. But it shouldn't be here, and yet we are travelling at great speed, greater than this train in its original age could hope to do. In fact, we're not even travelling on its normal means, rails. We go through this darkness, where nothing can be seen. A void of some sort, a transcendental portal to another opening. The nearest I have to match it is when you sleep and dream. You enter the darkness when your eyes close, and then, a few moments or hours, any given amount of time, you find yourself in a place where your mind lets you wander. Well, the same can be said of this train. The train itself, I don't believe, comes from the time its bodywork does, for it does not travel like a train from its own time. So I can only assume its likeness was a familiarity or popularity of the inventor of this marvellous machine. Now, I can't say I've told you everything, or even made you fully aware of all that I know. But that worrying look on your face makes me think I've said about enough, as one man's mind can't take at this juncture, any more at this juncture. Indeed, I hopelessly voiced. I think best I act as host for now, and show you around some of the people on this train. Now, I must tell you, you must, I think, although I can't be sure if there is at all any risk whatsoever, but to be on the safe side, don't talk like this with anyone else, as I'm not exactly sure that everyone knows what exactly we are doing. I suppose a great many people, even where you come from, and even me, could be said to suffer from this malady. But I don't mean it in a social, political, worldly fashion. I mean in the sense that some people on this train seem to be like fixtures, furniture, if you will. They appear to have been placed on the train with the same timing as the outside. Maybe they believe they are on this old-fashioned steam journey. I cannot tell. I think best leave them be. Just converse with the people in the manner that they converse with you. It keeps the whole balance of things. Okay, I said, not knowing really what to say after that. I followed Leonard Gilcroft out of his compartment, dodging the ticket inspector who came darting down the corridor, furiously demanding tickets. We snuck into a six-seater compartment, which from the closed door, Gilcroft whispered a location and description of the 3 people present. Old lady by the window, widower, husband, died 20 years ago, maybe the Great War, I'm guessing from her age. She always keeps making this same journey to remember him. She always repeats time and tide wait for no man. As he told me, I saw her mumble to herself. I couldn't help give a reaction on my face, somewhat in jest, seeing this frail one mumble to herself, which she lowered her head in shame. Leonard carried on his reasoning while this occurred. I think they used to travel on it as lovers. I think she's one of the fixtures, because that time and tide phrase to me suggests that, so be careful what you say. A bit late to tell me now, I thought. Then he moved on to the next passenger. The man in front of us, he's an interesting one. Never says a word. Not even one. Don't know his name. I'm not even sure if he's a fixture. It's possible, as it doesn't react. Or it could be, he's been in here so long he's become one. That's my latest thought on the matter. Then there's Peter Belkin, one of the travellers like you and me, comes and goes. I personally have never left the train. You know, you never know if it will come back. But you don't want to go back home? Leonard laughed, looked at me with a straight face, about to give me the answer. Then he burst into laughter again. In fact, every time he tried to tell me, he would laugh. Peter, said Leonard, how's it going, old chap? Fine. I was feeling a bit down today, said Peter. Why? What happened? That cat died this morning. Oh, sorry to hear that. I killed it, he said coldly and to me unexpectedly. Wasn't feeling too good. I wasn't feeling too good. I took it out on the cat, he said. Well, suppose it could have been worse, said Leonard. I looked at him, eyes wide open, in amazement at his attitude towards this murder. He killed his wife the last time he came here. You want me to give him a lecture and end up getting killed? I closed my open mouth before pulling him out of this particular carriage. He killed his wife? Why don't you tell the guard, the police? You forget, son, he belongs to another time. At some stage of our journey, he hasn't even committed it. The wife's not even his wife, not even born, neither him. And in the future, he's far away from any conviction. The guard on here might not even see him as what he appears. Sometimes they adapt new travellers with old ones. Don't ask me how, they just do. And anyway, this train is an anomaly, a freakness of time, a weird transition of the normal and not normal. Time does not play a part on board of this train. Only when he stops off can anything be done. And you think I'm going to go anywhere alone with him, to hand him to the police? You're always not taking into account what I said before. He might be a fixture, playing out a part. He might just be a fanaticist, a delusionist. I didn't know what to say. Maybe he was right. Would I be willing to take him to the police? How many times had I witnessed a crime take place, even the smallest, like a dropping of litter or an argument turn into a fight, and done nothing but walk away? Yet here I was moralizing about a situation that I was probably just as likely to walk away from than to handle it.